Today on Commander Replay, it's 3 Najeela decks versus an anti-Najeela deck. Can the control deck put a stop to the blazing aggro from 3 Najeelas? Find out next on Commander Replay. Welcome back, everyone, playing some Najeela the Blade Blossom. Today's game was set up by my buddy Dave, who's playing a Horde of Notions deck specifically built to hate on Najeela. So us and the other two opponents are all playing Najeela. We'll see how this game goes. I have to imagine that it'll probably end pretty quickly, but we'll see how things go. I kept a bit of an awkward hand with 1 green and a 1 fetch land. I think the 1 fetch land will help a bit, but the spread of colors in our hand right now is a little bit awkward. Would love to draw a land of a helpful color. Nope, it's a Perforos. So, I think that means it's going to be Polluted Delta, correct Polluted Delta. I think we're going to go for the... Watery Grave gets us closer to Derevi, which is good. Yeah, I think it's going to be Watery Grave. And we'll pass a turn like that. There's a pretty good chance that we Vampiric Tutor for a land. Tabernacle, you say? May need to go for a... Does this deck have Strip Mine? Well, let's go find out. And a Tormod's Crypt coming down. Nope, no Strip Mines in this deck. I don't know how to get rid of that Tabernacle. Hopefully opponents have something. So our opponents, by the way, as we mentioned, the 2 Najeela opponents. The first one starts with a Mardu Woe Reaper on their turn 1. The other one started with an Enlightened Tutor and grabs a Miri's Guile. I would sign up for a Miri's Guile right here. Do we have a Miri's Guile? We do. Maybe that's what we get. I'm thinking I might do the same just to smooth out the mana situation a bit. So opponent's going to cast their Miri's Guile, we'll Vampiric Tutor. Actually, I might go Sylvan Library right here. Sylvan Library can get us extra cards, which I like. So we draw into our Sylvan Library. Sounds good. We'll drop down the Forest and play the Sylvan Library. With that Tabernacle down, this may be a slower Najeela game than what we are used to. Also, we have some fans of the channel in the game. One opponent says that they built their Najeela deck after seeing me play it on the channel, so that's fun. Dave with Tormod's Crypt. I mean, his mana situations, starting with the turn 1 Tabernacle makes his mana a little bit awkward. So opponent opting to pay for the Reese and pay for the Mardu Woe Reaper. Sure. It's going to be a really tricky balancing act. I mean, once Najeela's in, that helps a lot, but you do need to have a couple creatures out to really get good benefit from Najeela. You know, it's, yeah, this is going to be interesting with the Tabernacle down. The reason I don't run Strip Mine in this deck, and it's kind of one of those toss-up things, is that if you drop a colorless land with Najeela, then that means you can't activate her ability on turn 5 unless you accelerate in some other way. So that's a bit of a tricky thing. Another card that's been on my mind too is Cascading Cataracts, and there's another one that does exactly the same thing. And I can't tell if those are worth it or not. It's, you know, kind of this toss-up of you can convert all your mana into the colors you need, except it's a turn slower, and it's a bit of a trade-off. If you hit Najeela's ability on turn 5, things go really well for you, and your opponents just need to have removal. So opponent's going to resolve their Miri's Guile trigger. Going to get to reorder the top of their library. Opponent's going to lay down an Edric Spymaster of Trest. Sure. That'll be good if we ever get creatures that we can afford to... The Rushblade Commander does give itself haste, so if we can find some red mana, we could swing with that and get a little additional card draw that way. Hoping to catch a land off the top with the Sylvan Library here. I will be very sad if there is not a land in our top 3 cards. So we draw a Miri Weatherlight Duelist off the top. Let's take a look with the Sylvan Library. Arid Mesa is very good. Do we need a Raider Spoils? I don't think so. Put that on top of the library. And we'll pay 4 to keep the Arid Mesa. Play the Arid Mesa. Crack the Arid Mesa. So we definitely need some red. We could also use some green for the Sasuke. But Enlightened Tutor is also white. Do we go for Savannah or do we go for Taiga? I'm going to go for, not Savannah, Sacred, what's it called? Plateau. Where is Plateau? Is there no Plateau in this deck? Huh, there's apparently no Plateau in the deck. That being the case, well, we need something with red. Taiga, probably? Savannah will hit our double green, and we'll have blue. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for Savannah right here. I really kind of wanted Plateau, except we do not appear to have one in our deck, so that's super awkward. And then, what do we do? Do we just lay down the Miri? I think we just lay down Miri. Miri would lose some good things in case any of the Najeela opponents decide to turn on us. That'll give us an ace blocker. Dave lays down a Swords to Plowshares on the Edric, so I guess we weren't going to get the card draw off that anyway. It's going to be a Verdant Catacombs to get a Scrubland. So we're going to send their warriors into the Horde of Notions. And going to lay down a Throne of the God Pharaoh. Nice. That's one I'll have to think about adding. This is actually good too. So with a game like this, with other people playing Najeela, we'll get a good look at to see how other people are playing Najeela. I'm pretty much on the try to go infinite plan somehow. It's going to be tricky with the Tabernacle, since we can't just cough down a bunch of creatures like we want to. Tribe Elder coming down for the second Najeela opponent. And they're going to lay down a Sylvan Library of their own. Very good for digging. Got to be careful, though. Najeela can make life go away really quickly. We're down to 28 already, and yeah, that is something we'll need to be concerned about. So we're going to pay 1 to keep our Miri around. Question is, yeah, I think I'm going to use the Enlightened Tutor right here, since our mana's already kind of chewed up anyway from the Tabernacle. And I think the one that we're going to want is either Nature's Will or Druid's Repository. Probably Nature's Will. So we're going to draw with the Sylvan Library trigger. Take a look at what's on top. There's another land. We'll want to keep making those land drops. Oh, Council's Judgment can't hit lands. Disappointing. I guess we'll put the Council's Judgment on top since we don't need it right now. Draw the land. Keep the Nature's Will. Whew, down to 24 already. So lay down the Vivid Grove. Go to combat. Swing into the Horde of Notions. We'll get the Miri ability. Opponent can block with only 1 creature this combat. They have no creatures, so not terribly relevant. However, while it's tapped, opponents can only attack us with 1 creature. Now, Najeela's ability will circumvent that a little bit, but at least when they're declaring attacks, they can't just send everyone at us. So, Enlightened Tutor from the Horde of Notions. Let's see what they go for. Static Orb. As long as it's untapped, players can untap more than 2 permanents during their untap step. That's going to be rough. Doesn't look like he's necessarily going to play it right away. So decides to hold on to it. As a Strip Mine and a black-white mana open. It's not Counterspell mana, so things should resolve unless he's got Force of Will in hand. But so opponent going on the attack, gonna swing into the Horde of Notions. They go down to 23. So second Najeela's turn, we get dinged by the Throne of the God Pharaoh again, and that'll bring it to second Najeela's turn. They'll get a Miri's Guile trigger and a Sylvan Library trigger. A little bit redundant in that sense, but and they'll have to sacrifice the Tribe Elder before they pay for it. Yep. So they sacrifice Tribe Elder. Oh, they didn't get a land with the Tribe Elder. That seems like a punt. Yep, that's not where you want to be. Missing the Tribe Elder land. Uh-oh, Nature's Will for the second Najeela opponent. They don't have any creatures out. Maybe they were supposed to pay for the Tribe Elder? I don't know what their plan was. They were going to pay for the Tribe Elder, go Nature's Will. That's a pretty good plan. Oh, there's Force of Will. So Dave was sitting on a Force of Will. He does go down to 2 cards in hand, so, I mean, he can't cast a Pact of Negation right here. We should be free and clear to lay down a Nature's Will. Although, we don't have the game wrapped up just yet. That's going to bring it back to our turn. We need to pay for the Miri. The Council's Judgment is coming back. Just need a land, honestly. Ooh, that's a bit awkward. There's a Cultivate. Well, put that back on top. Put that back on top. I'm going to try to start conserving life just a teeny bit more. So play the Cultivate. Let's get the red mana that we've been needing. We have 3 green sources, so we're pretty good there. We'll grab an island. We're a little light on blue. So send the Miri into the Horde of Notions. It will trigger. And pass turn. There comes the Static Orb. Ooh. It's going to make things nasty. That was probably actually a very good reason to get down the Nature's Will. So Tabernacle triggers on the first Najeela opponent. Opponent going on the attack again. Horde of Notions down to 14. Throne of the God Pharaoh going to trigger 2 life loss for everyone. Miri's Guile for the second Najeela opponent. Ooh, going to strip mine their command tower. Spicy. Wanting to keep Najeela off. So we can only untap 2 permanents. I think it's going to be Vivid Grove and this Savannah. Ooh, Tabernacle's gone. Oh, he strip mined the Tabernacle. Wow. Well, that was the thing that was kind of holding him up. I missed that. Let's go to our draw step. There's a Shared Animosity. Sylvan Library. Ooh, 3 cards that aren't lands. Put on top. I don't think we need Shared Animosity. Put that on top. We'll keep the tutor. Basically, I mean, I really just want to get Nature's Will down. So I think we're just gonna pass like that. Oop. And there's a Wheel of Fortune. So we're going to lose 2 of our combo pieces. Also a very good tutor. We get things that aren't nearly as good as what we had. Oh, he's going to Chalice of the Void. X is 0. That's interesting. So can't cast 0 mana spells. Oop, that's Druid's Repository. Najeela number 1, very close to winning. Miri's Guile for the Najeela number 2. So now the problem is that, like, if Dave dies, then the other two opponents will untap before us. Bramblewood Paragon for Najeela number 2. Follows it up with a Decorated Champion. Whenever another warrior enters, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And follows that up with a Reese. Sure. Alright, so we get to untap 2 permanents. I think that's going to be our creature and this land. There's an Iroas. It's not particularly helpful. Take a look with the Sylvan Library. 2 lands. Put Iroas back. Put the fetch land back. I think right here, play the breeding pool. I think I'm just gonna ramp and attack right here. I assume that one of the other players will kill the Horde of Notions, and then we'll just have to take our chances after that. So, or do we just get our commander down? Yeah, maybe it's Najeela time, and then we'll use the last 2 to Nature's Lore. Get a tropical island. Comes in untapped, and we will go to combat, swing into the Horde of Notions. Najeela will trigger, and Miri will trigger. So right now this is actually good, because the way it looks currently is that the second Najeela opponent will kill Horde of Notions, which would actually be good. That means we'd be the first one to untap without the static orb. Ha! Stasis. Players skip their untap steps. Sure. Throne of the God Pharaoh will trigger, so that's going to make everyone lose 2 more life. Puts Dave down to 4. If the second Najeela attacks into him and kills him, we might have this, since we'll get to untap with all of our lands first. We'll see. I mean, they may not attack. Like, it would make sense if they didn't want to attack, because of the way the lands will untap. So Miri's Guile and Sylvan Library trigger for the second Najeela. No untapped mana currently, though. And they play an untapped land. One of the Battle Bond dual lands. Okay, so we're in a very good spot. Opponent sends in the Decorated Champion. As long as this survives, they've already used his swords, so might have a path. Cracking the Windswept Heath. Gonna natural state on the Sylvan Library. Yeah, I don't know if that's good. So I think just shooting some removal on the way out. Gonna Tormod's Crypt in the Najeela number 2, so just, yep, burning up all his cards on his way out the door. And we might be well set up here. Yep, use Najeela's ability. Decorated Champion will get a bit bigger. So Horde of Notions going down, -2. We're in a good spot since we will untap before our opponents. And I think with the shared animosity, we're going to be able to do some work. So we can bring it back to our turn. Get our Sylvan Library trigger. Brutal Horde Chief and a land. We can put both back on top. Put on top. Put on top. Play the plane. Double check our mana situation. Actually going to play the Steam Vents. Untapped. So that's black, white, red, green, blue. Black, white, red, green, blue. Okay. Then we play the Shared Animosity. All right, and then we will go to combat. Going to send everything at the first Najeela opponent. Miri will trigger, Najeela will trigger, Shared Animosity will trigger. And I believe now is going to be a good time to use Najeela's ability because of the lifelink. So we go back up to 37. Najeela number 1 is down to 7, and we might be able to finish this up. Send everything at the other opponent, and we'll send 1, except for 1 token, which we'll send at the first opponent. We get a bunch more triggers. So I think this should be lethal on both opponents. So fans of the channel and the game, saying GG. So both opponents going down. Nice. So 3 Najeela decks fighting through the anti-Najeela deck, and we were able to get there mostly, I would say, on luck, like that we were able to untap first after the Stasis and the Static Orb. So, you know, that was basically the game. If anyone else untaps first, they probably take it down. Our life total was very low. It would have been very easy for someone to alpha strike us. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.